started. Thank you, all of you, for being here and taking part in this demonstration. I'm just going to be going through, the website, and it's going to be a real relaxed atmosphere. If you have a question, just, feel free to go ahead and ask the question. I'll try and answer it to the best of my ability. And I'm just going to go through the website, one point at a time, and we'll take it as we come. So the first thing here is the seal actually acts as a home click. So if you were to click on the seal, you'd be taken back to this main screen. The same as if you were to click the home button, you are taken back to the main screen as well. The second thing I want to take a look at on this first opening page is the parcel quick search. And if you were to put a parcel number in here, then it will take you directly to that parcel. So it makes it really quick without having to go through any of the search function pages. You can jump to a parcel very quickly just by putting that number in there, and then you will get to that parcel's information. Also on the home screen, this will take you to the property search functions as well as the link here, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Chuck has an announcement of what is taking place here, as well as our address, phone number, email, and then some links to some of the surrounding counties' websites as well. And you're certainly welcome to take advantage of those links and get to those sites if you need to. That pretty much takes care of the splash page here, and we're going to go ahead and just take a look at property search, which probably is one of the bigger functions here that you'll be using. So if you click property search, we basically have 4 different types of searches that you can do. There's an owner name search, a location address search, a parcel number search, and then a sales search. So for owner name, and you'll notice here that the tax year is 2022. Currently, we are in the process of migrating to ISSG's real estate appraisal and tax system, and we will be doing so towards the end of this year completely. For right now, they are working on an extract of our data, which is only for the current tax year, which is 22 pay 23. And so any of these searches that you see sometime after we migrate into their system will have full functionality with all of our tax years going back to the beginning of when we started to be digital, all the way going forward. So, but for right now, the only thing you can search on is this current tax year. And if I was to put a name in here, you'll see that it begins developing a list of properties that I can choose from as far as these owner names go. And if I was to just put in White and go ahead and hit search, I would then get a list of all the Whites in the county. And you can change your display amount to be anything from 5 results all the way up to 200. And you can page through them here one at a time. You can jump to the end, you jump one at a time, or you can click these numbers as well. To help define that search even more, you could start typing in a first name. And once again, you'll be limited to those who are available for that search that you're looking for. Click search, and in this case, we have 2 results. And if you click on the parcel number there, you go directly to that page. One of the nice things on these searches is that if you have a number of search results, you'll be able to page through them here one at a time. So if you're looking for all owners with the last name of White, for instance, you could click through them one at a time and look at the next one, jump back and forth to the last or the first, depending on how many results that you have in your list. Any other questions on any questions on the owner search? If not, we'll move on. Just want to give everybody a chance to ask a question if they have one. Pretty straightforward. Location search is has been a little bit more problematic. And one of the things I certainly want to make note of here is that we always have gone by the mantra of less is more. And what I mean by that is the less information you put into a search screen, the more results you're going to get, and you'll be better able to pick the property that you're actually looking for. And what I mean by that is over here in our help section, it says a street number such as 11100 or a name, Sperry, is enough to initiate your search. The entire address is not required. And while the information boxes are there for you to put the full information in, giving less is always going to give you better results. And what I mean by that is just like we had here, if I type in 111000 and hit search, I'm going to get a list of all those properties who have that address of 111000. And if I was typing the full address in, if I spelled Clarendon wrong or I typed in ROAD instead of RD, I'm going to get no results. So it's better to give it less information and select your property then from the list that is there. It makes it a lot easier for you to find a property and get to the result that you're looking for. Also on that screen, you could type in a street name as well. That would also help you to define what you're looking for. And I use the example of Sperry in our help, and Sperry pops up, and I could hit search. And then this gives me a list of all those properties then that are listed for Sperry Road. And you can see also it pulls in those that are on Sperry Lane. So we gave it the Sperry search, and so it pulled in everything on lane, everything on road. Say you lived on Sperry Lane, but you typed in road for some reason and you couldn't find your property. The reason is because you typed in RD instead of LN. And so it's much easier to just type in less information, get more results, and then pick your property from that results list. And you could enter everything from a street number, a pre-direction, which is northeast, south, or west, the street name. We also have our suffixes, and you can see how those are listed here. We don't, if you type out court, COURT, you're not going to find the property. It has to be CT for court. And then we also have post direction, and the only one we have here in the county is south. Any questions or comments there before we move on from the location search? It's actually very easy to use once you realize that you put in less information, your results list will be much easier to choose from. All right, let's move on to the parcel number search. And that's very self-explanatory. It's just like the quick search at the top right-hand portion of the screen. You put in a parcel number, and you go directly to that parcel itself. Very straightforward, easy to use as long as you have a parcel number. And then the last thing here I'll go over is our sales search. Once again, this is going to be a really great resource for researching things once we have all the tax years in. But for right now, we just have the one tax year. And so we can do a search on amounts from the least to the greatest amount that you enter here, any sale date range that you decide to put in, when the property and when the home was built, the living area of the home, high and a low number, the number of stories, the bedrooms, the acres that the property sits on, the land use that it is, the tax district that it is in. So if you want to limit it to a specific Land use type, you can do that here. If you want to limit it to a specific tax district, you can do it here. Or you could actually even use a school district as well. And so those are all options that are available to you. And I'll just go through one really quick search just to give you an idea of how it works. We can click a beginning date and an end date. So let's see, I want to see all the sales that happened yesterday in our county. And I would hit search, and then I have a results list here. So these are all the transfers that took place in our office yesterday. And these properties all transferred at that time, and that's how you would use that search. Any questions or comments there? All right, let's move on then, and we'll take a look at a specific parcel itself. So let's put a parcel number in here. And then we'll finish this list up here as soon as we're done looking at a parcel. So the first thing you get to is the parcel summary page. And this is just a basic summary of everything that has to do with that parcel. You see here, there's some basic information in the top. We talk about the property itself, the owner, the taxpayer, the deed information, how many acres it is, what the sale amount was, when it sold, the values for the property. And then we look at the taxes for the property. So it's just an overview or summary of the basic information for that property. The next link here is the tax link, and that will take you to the tax page, which gives you the information about the taxes for this property, how much they owe, how much has been paid. You can see here that first half has been paid, second half hasn't yet. We're still waiting on that. The next would be our transfers. This is how many times this property has transferred in the county, and gives you the information on who owned it, who they transferred it to, the conveyance that was used, deed, volume, and page, and how much it actually transferred for. This history link is very similar to the transfers link. It is a list of all the transfers, but in a kind of like a timeline fashion. And if you were to go ahead and click on one of those, it would give you the information from that transfer as well as what was listed on the other page. Any questions, comments before I move on? All right, let's take a look at payment history. So this is a history of the tax payments made on this parcel. Very easily understood there. A value history is going to be how this parcel's value has changed through time. And you can see here 1995 all the way to current 2022. Soil breakdown, you see, we don't have anything here. This parcel is not on our CAUV program, but if we were to type in a parcel that was on our CAUV program, let's see. And we can see that now that is highlighted green instead of grayed out. And if we click on that, we can take a look at the soil breakdown for this CAUV parcel, the soil type, the land, the soil use, the acres that are in each one of those, and then the values that are associated with that. We can also look at the land line for this parcel as well, which this is a right-of-way. This is an actual home site, 1 acre home site, and then the rest of the parcel, 40.73 acres. And you'll notice here that commercial buildings is grayed out. Well, of course, this is not a commercial property, but if we were to put in a commercial number, we would be able to take a look at that as well. So if you have a commercial property, this is once again not grayed out, and you'll be able to see that it's a retail store, the year that it was built, the area, and basic information about that commercial building. Once again, we've got some grayed out information here, so I'm going to go back to a regular non-commercial parcel. And we can look at our dwelling here. And this gives us some basic information about the main dwelling on the property, the style and the stories, finished basement, the different types of rooms, when it was built, if it was remodeled, the total living area, and that kind of thing. Also, there's a little question mark here. And if you hover over that, it says for full details of the finished living area can be found on the sketch tab. And we'll take a look at that sketch tab in just a few minutes here. You can see this is a regular property without any other improvements on it. And I'm going to go ahead and put in another partial here so you can see what those other improvements look like. I believe our CAUV property had some other improvements. Yeah, here we go. So if we were to click on the other improvements link, that brings up the other improvements for this property. You can see they've got two pole barns. One was built in 95 and one in 11. Their condition, their size, and then the value that is associated with them. Any other questions or comments before I move on? Hope I'm not going too fast. I hope everybody's able to absorb what I'm doing here. So that's one of the hard things when you're doing something remotely instead of in front of an audience. You can't really gauge where that audience is at. But we're going to move on here and take a look at the sketch for this property. And so this is the sketch for this property, outlining each of the different areas. And giving you the square feet for those. Next, we have the levy distribution. And this goes ahead and shows you how monies collected is distributed to the various government entities in the county. And as you can see, the schools are the big one. Any questions or comments there? All right. We also have a tax estimator, which we'll go over when we come up here, but it's basically the same thing. And since they're already on we're already on the property, it just copies everything over here. And if you were to click owner occupied, since it is clicked there, you would get the same amount of information that their regular taxes are the same as we estimate. But we'll look at that as a standalone application in just a minute. If you were to hit map this parcel, you'll be taken to our mapping application. When we are fully converted into ISSG's real estate appraisal and tax system, they have their own mapping system that will use our data. And at that time, we'll be using that. But for now, we have it linked to our current RealLink system. And that will go ahead and link to that parcel and bring it up here for you to view and do anything that you would normally do in Geauga RealLink. All right, so here's that parcel that we had on CAUV. It's a farm parcel, very large. And you can see, I'm sure most of you have been using RealLink for quite a while. And so this is the normal, look and feel of the map for RealLink with the available tools and other mapping capabilities that are available to you here. I'm just going to go ahead and close this for now. just wanted to show you that that will take you directly to that map. And the second thing here on the bottom is the tax card for this property. So if you were to click this, it will create a PDF document of a summary of all the information that we just kind of looked at. It gives you some summary information, the value information, the current charges on the property, a little bit of the transfer history, the landlines that we looked at, the dwelling itself, the other improvements that are on the property, and then the sketch information that we looked at. So it's basically a printed version of everything we looked at about this property. And you can go ahead and you can print that, you can download it and save it to your computer, email it to somebody, whatever it is you want to do. It's just a regular normal PDF file that is available for you to use. All right, with that, I will ask if there's any questions or comments on the left side links that are available when you're viewing a parcel. Does anybody have any questions or comments before we continue on?
Hey Lou, this is Karen Walder.
Sure.
I'm just really happy with the speed of the site and the auto fill in, and I'll tell you what, that levy distribution chart is really going to be helpful. Thank
Great.
you.
I'm glad you find use there. That's very good. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and finish going across these links at the top. The first thing we have here is a delinquent list, and basically it's a special kind of search, and it will be very useful for historical research. But for right now, the only thing we have in here is our 2022 tax year. But we'll have everything going back. They're converting all of our data going back to 1995 and then going forward. So it'll be a great place to look for researching items. But you can create a delinquent list. Let's say I wanted all the delinquent properties in Burton Village at this point. So this would give me then a list of those properties that are currently tax delinquent in Burton Village. And you could search any township, any village. We're looking at possibly adding a school district list here at some point. But right now, these are the two items that you have to search on. The next, of course, is the map, and that's just the same link as if you were on a parcel, but this is just going to take you directly to the county map. So if I was to click on that, it's going to just fire off RealLink and leave you at the county map opening page where you can put in a parcel number or an owner name or whatever it is you're interested in to search for here in the map itself. The next is our tax estimator. And so you would choose what type of property class you're looking at. Are you looking for a residential agricultural property, a commercial industrial property, a mineral property? And in this case, we'll just leave it on residential ag. What tax district are you interested in finding out about? And I'm going to go ahead and say Munson Chardon. And what value of the property? Let's say $250,000 house. And yes, I'm going to be living there. And you hit calculate, and this is going to give you an estimate of the amount of taxes that you will have to pay based on our 2002 tax rates if you were to buy a house for that amount or build a house for that amount in that tax district. Any questions or comments there? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the reports. We have several different reports here, and we are probably going to be adding more as we move forward. But for now, we just have the two. We have neighborhood reports and sales reports. So neighborhood allows you to go ahead and select neighborhood in the county, and you could select any one of them and hit search. And then now you have every property that is in that neighborhood, okay? And you can scroll through them. You can look at one and view whichever one you're looking for. The other thing we have is a sales search, and this is going to allow you to do a special sales search depending on where in the county you're looking for. You could do it countywide. You could do it for a specific neighborhood. You could do it for a specific tax district or school district. So if I wanted to do a school district search for, Penston, and I wanted to see all the sales that happened, I don't know, within the past month in that district, I could hit search and it goes out and brings me back a list of those properties that were sold in that district within the last month. It gives me the total number of sales. These 0 to 99 are probably uh, what they call um, tax exempt sales. So there would be no um, value to them really. They're probably all zeros if we went to look at them. Then here we have one that is between 1 and 50,000, one that's 50,000 to 100,000, and we've got 7 that are between 100 and 250, and we've got quite a few over $250,000. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this, and these are all links, and you could bring those up. So I want to see all those that sold for that amount. And then those are all listed here. And you could go and check each one of those properties out if you so desired, or you can even at this point export this list out to Excel if you wanted to work on it in your own spreadsheet or set up a report that you're doing, that type of thing. You could export this list out to Excel as well. Any other questions or comments there on those two reports, either the neighborhood report or the sales report? All right. The final thing across the top here is our additional links. One takes you directly back to the county homepage. You can see that here. One takes you to our auditor's office page, which is here. This is a link to the recorder's plat viewer. So if you were to open this up, you could then search for a specific plat that you were doing research on or needed to find. Let's see if I chose this one and hit search. Let's see. We get the results list down here. I can click on that link and it brings up a PDF of that document. Once again, you can print, you can save, whatever it is you need to do with that document. If you're just using it for research, you could review what you need to and then close it. You can also come over here and look for a specific deed or a plat volume and page. So you'd be able to do those here aside from the name listing. You can also do a search for a specific uh, uh, political subdivision within the county, or you could actually do a search based on date ranges. So that's completely up to you how you want to do that search. And then the only other thing is our disclaimer here basically says this is data gathered from other systems. And if you see anything, let us know and we'll fix it as soon as we can. So that's basically a real quick rundown of our new public facing website. Like I said, it will only get more robust and have more things added to it as time goes on, and especially after we have completely converted and are into the ISSG real estate appraisal and tax system. So with that, I'm going to ask if you have any questions or comments. Uh, Other than that, I think I've pretty much gone through the whole website, unless you can think of something you'd like to see.
I apologize. I missed some of the training, interrupted by business, but quick question. When we get those special tax searches for special assessments, where do we find that information now?
Special assessments on a specific property?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have a property with a special assessment on it, I guess, maybe the best thing to do, I don't have a special assessment property sitting in front of me here. Do you happen to know one by any chance?
Not off the top of my head. Sometimes they're
Yeah, let me
delinquent
see if I can get
charges.
a Chardon has them. So let's take a look here. All right. So here we have on the current charges, there's a special line, which lists those here. As
Okay.
well as if you go to the tax screen, you'll see each of those specials listed separately.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Anyone else? All right, with that then, I would like to thank you all for coming, and I hope you find the site to be useful and beneficial for you in what you do. And once again, don't hesitate to send us an email, give us a call if there's something we can help you with. We'd be more than happy to do so. And so with that, I'm going to stop recording. And